Hey you guys, I'm Jodi. Welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, welcome. We are so glad that you're here today. Today we are going to talk all about grabbing that old eyeshadow palette and inspiring you to create a new look. I don't know about you guys, but I have more eyeshadow palettes than I possibly need, and I've sort of lost inspiration in just grabbing them. I'm always thinking, oh, if I buy a new eyeshadow palette, I will have a new look. And I don't. I end up using that same palette in the same way, with the same design or the same technique or the same placement that I've used with all my other palettes. So instead of buying something new, let's just grab an old eyeshadow palette, whichever one you have, and I'm going to show you a new technique of a way to use 3 to 4 colors. And the best part, this technique is super easy. We're going to create this look together, and it's just in time for summer. So we're going to be spending less time doing our makeup and more time out doing things that we enjoy, but still looking our very best as we do it. So put this video on pause, go grab one of your old eyeshadow palettes. You know you've got at least one in there, except those of you that don't wear eyeshadow, and I've got a few of you subscribers that I know do not wear eyeshadow, so this video may not pertain to you, but I bet you have a friend that does wear eyeshadow that you can share this video with. Now that you have one of your old eyeshadow palettes, and if you didn't have me narrating, under normal circumstances, this look will take you under 10 minutes. So if you're ready, let's get started. All right, so if you guys are as excited as I am for summertime, then we need to just get a quick makeup look on and then out the door. So today we're just gonna spend a little bit of time on our eyes. It's a really quick, easy application, and we're taking an old eyeshadow palette and coming up with a new look so that you can repurpose, recycle, reuse, whatever you wanna call your eyeshadow palettes. We don't need to keep buying more. You certainly can if you want. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But for those of us that are like, gosh, I've got so many palettes, I don't use all those colors, I just want to be inspired to get a new look out of an old eyeshadow palette and be ready for summer, then I think you're gonna love this look. For this look, just go through some of your old palettes and look for some colors that you really like that have some lighter tones and some darker colors. I grabbed the Too Faced Natural Matte palette, which is one of my favorites because it's all mattes and it's a lot of different mattes, which is what I love about it. And so we can go from light to more of the dark. It serves a variety of skin tones. If you've got darker skin, for example, you could still do a really pretty natural color with some of these lighter colors and then a little bit darker in the corner. If your skin is more on the lighter side, then you can pick up some of these and then maybe even that as your darkest color. So a lot of variety in this palette and a lot of different ways to layer these shades. So I'm gonna walk you through one of my favorites for summertime. So one of the first things that I wanna do is prep my eyelid so that I have a very natural look to my eyelids. And you guys, I had forgotten how much I used to love back in the day. This is one of those old favorites, the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. And clearly I need to clean it. And I don't know why I stopped using this. In fact, lately I've used a combination that I really love, and that is the MAC Color Corrector, the yellow one underneath my eyes. And then I've been using this Pro Wear Concealer on top of that. And I've just loved the combination and don't know why I moved away from it, but I'm going back to my roots with that one and happy about the results. So I just want to take a little bit on my brush and neutralize my eyelids so that I can start from a really nice natural look. And this way, for those of you that don't like a heavy eyeshadow look, this is just a nice way to brighten up that eye area without adding a lot of color. And you don't have to commit to matte or shimmer. It just is a nice natural look. You can see the difference that makes already between the two eyes. Now I could add just a little bit of highlighter right across that lash line, put on some mascara and call it good. And there are some days that I do that. Now that we've got our eyes a nice consistent, veins have been covered and it just matches the rest of our face, I'm gonna go in with a light fluffy brush and I'm gonna hold it back at the end of it because I don't wanna add a ton of color. And I'm gonna pick up the color that I wanna use that's my darkest shade. And for this look today, that's gonna be this color right here. So whatever color you have that you want to use as your darkest shade for the day. And then I'm going to go right here in this outer corner. So if you have hooded eyes, same placement, outer corner above the outer lashes. And you want to keep that above that outer corner of your actual eye. So right about there on each side. And you'll notice I'm not blending this in. I really just want to add the placement for right now. so that I can look back and say, all right, is that the same for both eyes? And I would say this one needs just a tad more. Now, if you have droopy eyelids, here's where you're gonna wanna take that same color and just go on the underneath of that droop to pull it up and away a little bit. So you can see just by doing that, the difference between these two eyelids. This eyelid looks pulled back and a little bit more wide open, where this one looks a little more droopy. And it's just a simple optical illusion with just a little bit of shadowing, and I'm going to do the same thing right here. If you do have droopy eyelids and this is a trick you want to use, then just be sure that wherever your droop is, you consistently bring that powder across the whole droop. So if your droop sort of stops at this outer corner, then just darken that part. If your eye droops the whole way, then you're going to want to color underneath that whole way. In my case, it's really just more this outer part of my eye for now. I'm sure with time that will change. Next, you want to grab a clean, larger, fluffy brush, and I like a tapered one. This is the Angie Hot and Flashy A503. Again, holding it at this outer edge, because the farther out you hold your brush, the more light hand you have. And if you have very precise small detail work where you want to control it much more closely and you want more control of the color payout, then you're going to want to hold it much closer to the bristles themselves. Now we're in a blending mode, so we're going to go back and hold it at the edge. And I really am not trying to move it. I'm just trying to blow out those lines. And I want to keep that eyeshadow halfway on my lid and halfway between my eye and my brow on both sides. So here's my lid, here's the brow, halfway. So you'll see I'm really just trying to soften those lines. As you're blending, try to keep that darker eyeshadow color to the center of your eyes and out. Again, if you've got droopy eyelids that go past the center, then you're going to want to undercoat them, but don't bring that color down here or up there. Really keep it on that crease. For the rest of us, you just want to keep that color on the outer corners of your eye. Next, you want to grab a small, tightly tapered brush. If you have a pencil brush, that also works in this case. And go back to that same color that you used, capping off any excess. And we're just going to go across the bottom of our lashes as close to the lash line as you possibly can, because we're going to add some mascara in that area. And don't worry if your eyeshadow gets on your lashes, because it will actually help give a fuller, thicker look to your lower lashes, because as we coat the lash with mascara, if it has an outer coat of powder on top of it and then you coat it with mascara, then each eyelash will be a little bit thicker in its dimension as we're coating it with mascara. We just want to give a little bit of dimension, and then I'm just going to pull it up real closely. Next, you're going to want to grab a small brush that's very narrow right through here. Hold it at the other end, and then we want to put that powder right on the edge of that brush. And in terms of the eyeshadow, you want to use the middle color of the three that you want to use today. What I mean by that is, here was the darker color that we used. Now we're going to go to this color, and then last we're going to use one of these two. I haven't quite decided yet. So I want to put that color right on the tip of that brush. Here's my eyelid. I don't want that color on my eyelid. I want it right above the eyelid, right there. And I'm gonna curve it slightly up, and I wanna stop that color just past my eyebrow. Just like that. We're just creating a little bit of a curve, which is gonna make your eyelid appear more large. Now, if you have hooded eyes, you still can do the same thing. You're just gonna go right through here on top of that hooded area to create a little bit more of a eyelid bed, if you will, to put a lighter color on so that that area really is accentuated and pops. And then blend it out so that you don't see where it starts or stops. So you should have something that looks somewhat like that. And now here comes the fun part. Now we're gonna grab a light fluffy brush, and I'm gonna go in with these two colors. Since I couldn't decide, I'm gonna just mix them both. So whatever your lighter two colors are, as long as they're in the same tone as the darker and the medium color that you use, that's fine. You can also use a matte here. You could use a shimmer here if you wanted. It's entirely up to you. Again, no rules in makeup, just things that might make us appear older or accentuate some of the things that we may not want to accentuate, which is wrinkles, which is why I tend to stay away from more shimmery eyeshadows. But whatever you love, then go ahead and do that, of course. So now that I have that powder on the whole dome of my brush, I'm gonna go in right on the center of my eye, and I'm just gonna go back and forth until I have connected this darker color with that color that we just added and the inner corner of my eye. I'm not trying to move this lighter shadow over those colors. I'm just trying to connect them. And you guys, I have picked up a new lipstick lately, and I don't know if it's new or if it's just new to me, and I have loved it. So if you like this lipstick, it is it's Dior, and it's number 220. And I thought it was matte. I just fell in love with this. Speaking of Dior, I went through my makeup collection and started putting, regardless of product, I started to categorize it by brand to see what brand I really use the most of. And then once I did that, I put it in order of all of the lipsticks or all of the lip products. There's a lot of lip glosses and lip balms and stuff, and then mascaras and things. And I get asked the question, what's my favorite makeup brand? And I didn't think I really had a brand. I have a favorite per product, like favorite mascara is one brand, favorite lip liner is another brand. But I was surprised how much Dior I had and I love and I go to and use. So I was thinking about doing a video of dupes for all of my favorite Dior products. So let me know if that's something that you guys would be interested in, or have you seen plenty of dupe videos and you're like, I'm over it with dupe videos. Leave me a comment in the comment section below if that's a video you'd like to see. If you tend to like a lot of the Dior colors or finishes or the way they wear, then that might be something you want to see. It'll just take me a little while to get it together because, you know, in order for me to say it's a good dupe, I have to wear it a couple times and put it under different conditions, and I'll save you guys all of that because I can do a lot of that on the weekends and stuff. But if that's something you want to see, I am happy to do it. Now the next thing you want to do is take a small narrow pencil brush just like this, and we're gonna take the darkest color in our palette and we're gonna put the color along the side of that brush. Now because this is a darker color and it does have a tendency to have fallout, you want to tap off any of the excess that you have. Now while you're holding the brush way back here at the end, I want to take that color and just lay it on the very outer edge of my eyelashes, not extending too much farther than that outer corner, and I don't want to go in any more than the length of that brush. So you just kind of want to lay it there as a template. Now what you can see is that's giving you a little bit of a soft eyeliner. Now that we have that, tap off any excess that you have from that same brush, and now we just want to go in and smudge it out a little bit, pulling it up and out, up and away from the eye, almost connecting that darker color that we put on earlier, but not really a sharp V. We just want to barely highlight that it's there without covering up too much of your lid. The lid from the corner to corner, you want to keep as light as possible. So just very easy, something soft like that. And don't worry if it's not perfect, because we're going to go back in here in just a second with a fluffy brush and smooth it out, giving your eyes a little bit of a natural lift without knowing why they look a little lifted, and then connecting it back to that V. Then with any clean, medium fluffy brush, just go back in and softly blur that so that you can see it, but you don't know what you see exactly. Just a few more steps before this look is completed, and then you're out the door running your errands or getting hopefully some fun summer events planned. All right, now what we want to do is add a little bit of highlight between our eyebrow and that shade that we put right through here. Now, if you have a lot of space here, you're going to want to put just a little bit of highlight because you don't want that whole space to be highlighted. You almost want to minimize how much space you have. If you don't have much space at all between your eyelashes and your eyebrows, then this is a step you're going to for sure not want to skip, because you want to add some space between your eyebrow and your eyelashes. For me, I like to grab a small brush so that I can control where I put that powder. And I'm going to go and just mix those two colors that we used earlier on the lightest part, putting that powder right on the edge. Now here's a fun tip to ensure that your eye has more of an open appearance versus widening your whole face. Because we use a brush that's this width, you want to angle that brush right at the same angle as your eyebrow. So as you pull it down, you're going along your eyebrow, and you can see I've just taken this outer part of my eyebrow and that's what I've highlighted. But I've also highlighted this front arch, but just the width of my brush. And then just softly blur that so it doesn't look like it's come to a harsh stop, but you really want to avoid highlighting or putting lighter brow powder underneath this whole eyebrow, especially if your eyebrows are more straight across. This helps give you a little bit more of a dimension to your eyebrow, and then you can just softly grab your fluffy brush and blend it so that there's no hard lines. Now let's finish up with some eyeliner, and if you saw the last Friday face-off, which I will link right here if you haven't, because it's a lot to learn about eyeliners and it certainly changed my purchasing habits. So I'm using the NYX Epic eyeliner and I'm gonna wear it in brown and make small little strokes right at my lash line. And then by putting the tip of your pencil in that outer corner, you just make a little flick if you want some sort of a wing. And I told myself I was not gonna do a wing today, and I didn't quite make it. But that's a smaller wing than it normally is, so we'll give myself a little bit of credit for that, maybe. Now just to make my eyes a little bit more dark, I'm gonna take that same pencil and I'm gonna go from the underside, and I wanna make sure that I'm not coating the entire area of skin. I really just wanna push this up underneath, in between the lashes, to give that lash line a little bit more dimension and have it appear more thick than, let's say, it is. So I'm not trying to tight line, I'm not trying to get that waterline completely covered. You can see that just adds a more thick, full looking lash without tight lining, because no matter how good a waterproof eyeliner is, and based on testing this is one of the best, it's eventually going to come underneath here if it's in your waterline. So I try to stay out of the waterline itself and really just push that, like I said, up into the lashes, and give yourself a little bit thicker lash. And that placement on your lashes instead of on the waterline not only gives you more intense look to your lashes, but it doesn't harshen the eyes, and it helps ensure that your eyeliner stays longer throughout the day. All right, I think that's gonna do it. Now I'm just gonna go really softly on the bottom lashes, right over that powder that we used earlier. And I like to bring that just a little bit past center. All right, something like that. And then we're gonna add a little bit of mascara. I'm gonna use the Makeup Forever Professional Mascara in 2 steps, because this very small brush helps me do my bottom lashes in a hurry without leaving a big mess behind, which is really important to me as we get into summer, and I would rather be outside doing stuff than inside cleaning up my mascara mistakes. For those of you that aren't sure, just let that mascara dry wherever you've made the mistake. It's much easier to flake it off after it's dried than to try to remove it while it's still wet. That's where you get that smudgy look, and all of a sudden your good day is starting off on the wrong foot. It's easy to clean up though, just let it dry and flake it off. So I like to give my lashes 1 coat, and then I will go in, because this brush is so nice and small, I like to go in and just lightly go over those bottom lashes. Not everybody likes to put mascara on their lower lashes. I like to, because I think even though if you don't have a lot of lashes, it still helps make your eye look more like an eye versus all of the heaviness or the color on top. It weights it down a little bit and then it looks like it floats. I like to just add a little bit to that bottom area so that it defines the shape of my eye. We'll let that dry, and then I'm just gonna go back in. I wanna soften up that eyeliner look a little bit underneath my eye. So I'm just gonna grab that small little pencil brush that we used earlier to do that powder liner up here and just smudge it just a little bit to make sure that I don't have any harsh lines. Well, I'm gonna finish this look up with a 3rd coat of waterproof mascara once this dries. That's gonna do it for me today, you guys. I hope you enjoy this look. More importantly, I hope you enjoy going through some of your old eyeshadow palettes and really creating new looks with them so that you don't feel the need to go out and buy something new. We're all trying to be more conservative with our spending right now, and chances are you have some really great palettes that maybe you have forgotten about, or you just need some new inspiration on how to use them. I hope you do this look. I hope you enjoy your summer, and I will see you guys again real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.